By the end of this video, you can identify different parts of a circle. A circle is a round plane figure consisting of points equidistant from a fixed point, which is the center. The center of the circle is the origin. The distance from the center of the circle to any point on the circle is known as the radius. The longest line drawn from one end of a circle to the other is called the diameter. This is a radius, which is this, and if you add it to this radius, which is this, you're going to get 2 radii. That is, the addition of 2 radius is equal to diameter. Since the diameter is the longest distance end of a circle to the other, any other of such drawn line within a circle that touches 2 points on the circle is known as a chord. Apart from the diameter, each of these is a chord. You can draw a chord not to be parallel to a diameter. A line drawn to touch only one point on the circle is known as tangent. Line AB is a chord. An extended chord is simply known as secant. Points AB are on the circle, but points CD are outside the circle. In this activity, identify line HK, MN, BC, and DF. And lastly, identify line OC. A circle consists of points equidistant from the center. The circular path that join these points together is simply known as the circumference of the circle. Another name for the circumference of a circle is perimeter. The formula to calculate the circumference of a circle or the perimeter of a circle is 2 pi r, or pi multiplied by the diameter. Remember that 2 multiplied by the radius is equal to the diameter. Hence, we can replace the 2 and the r with d. The unit of the circumference of a circle or the perimeter of a circle is in millimeters, or in meters, or in centimeters, or in inches. If you split a circle into 4 equal parts, that is, a quarter of this circle is simply known as quadrant. Each quadrant must be 90 degrees, and the length of the quadrant is known as arc. The arc is a curved line, and the radius that makes up the quadrant must be equal. two quadrants put together is known as a semicircle, and their angle at the center is 180 degrees. At times, instead of splitting a circle into 4 equal parts, you could have a circle split less than the size of a quadrant or more than the size of a quadrant. Such area or portion or part is known as a sector. This part is known as a minor sector, while this area is known as the major sector. The name sector is because it's no longer a quadrant. The angle at the center of a sector is usually below 90 degrees or above 90 degrees, but not exactly 90 degrees. There are two ways of calculating the area of a sector, either in degrees or in radian. For the area of a sector, the first formula is using 1/2 multiplied by r squared multiplied by theta, where theta is in radian. Another way of calculating the area of a sector is by using x divided by 360 degrees multiplied by pi multiplied by r squared. Here, x is an angle in degrees. In both cases, both formulas will give you the same answer, as long as you know how to convert radian to degrees and degrees to radian. Next, we can calculate the length of the curved line, which is simply the length of the circular arc. At times, instead of using L to represent the length, you can equally use S. But here, the theta is in radian. Remember, the length of this arc is simply this S. Likewise, in calculating the arc length, instead of using the radian, we can equally use the degrees. S here is in degrees, and instead of using 2 pi r, we can use pi multiplied by the diameter, because the diameter is equal to 2r. Always remember that a sector is like a pizza slice with an angle from the center. A sector will always have an arc length facing the angle. Next, at times, instead of splitting a circle into quadrants and sectors, you can have them split into chords, but not from the diameter, which is the longest distance. That is, this chord have divided this circle into 2 different parts, known as segments, because a chord is involved. The circle is now divided into a major segment and a minor segment. Next, to find the area of a segment, we are going to extend this line from point A to the center of the circle, and also from point B to the center of the circle. Next, we must identify the angle at the center. Remember, only the shaded portion is the segment. This triangular portion is excluded. However, remember that all this portion together is a sector, which we have explained earlier. To find the area of the segment, it is the area of the sector minus area of the triangle. When you simplify this formula, this is in radian, while this is in degrees. Both formulas will give you the same answer, as long as you maintain the radian for this formula, or you maintain the degrees for this formula. You must be able to convert radian to degrees and degrees to radians. How to calculate the area of a sector and how to calculate the area of a segment have been treated in a separate video. You can calculate for the perimeter of a circular sector by adding up the length plus the radius plus the radius, which you can use this formula to complete the solution. Next, pi is an infinite long number, which is simply written as 3.142, is a constant for any given circle. No matter the radius of the circle, the ratio of the circumference to the diameter must be constant. There are three ways to calculate the area of a circle. Number one is when you have only the radius. The second formula is when you have only the diameter. And the third formula is when you have only the circumference or the perimeter. And the unit for area is in millimeters squared, or in centimeters squared, or in inches squared, or in meters squared. To measure the angles in a circle, we assume that the circle is split into 360 equal parts or equal sectors. Conventionally, we are going to count from this point towards anti-clockwise direction. Each quadrant is 90 degrees. When you have returned to the starting point, you have completed a 360 degrees circle. A circular round plane figure, when extruded uniformly, can form a three-dimensional sphere. A sphere have surface area and volume, unlike a circle that have area and circumference, which is known as the perimeter. The surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared, while the volume of a sphere is 4 over 3 multiply pi r cube. A donut shaped surface generated by a circle is simply known as torus. From a unit circle, we can analyze and generate some trigonometric functions, which have been treated in a separate video. How to calculate the area of a circle, and how to calculate the area of a sector, including the arc length, and how to calculate the area of a segment circle have been treated in a separate video. And circle theorems. Using chords, angles, arc, tangent, secant, and all we have identified in this video to solve circular problems using known principles. And these have been treated in a separate video. And some advanced topics. Circle has equation. For example, the equation of a circle with Cartesian coordinates, equation of a circle with polar coordinates, and equation of a circle with parametric coordinates. These equally have been treated in a separate video. Now that you can identify parts of a circle, you can complete this activity. If this video was helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. To locate and access other helpful videos, follow the link on the screen. I will see you in the next video lesson.